guys, let's hold it together and have a bit of an honest and confidential conversation today. Nigerians, are you too old to relocate from or to leave Nigeria? Or let me put it differently. Is there an age someone is too old to leave? I want you to dwell on that for a second. Meanwhile, welcome back to E-commerce for Minorities. If this is your first time here, many thanks for stopping by. And for those still very few subscribers, okay, you guys please subscribe. And also a few returning viewers, many thanks for staying with us and for trusting that what we share on this platform is worthy of your time and attention. So, back to my question earlier. Well, my answer to the question whether or not someone is too old to relocate or to leave Nigeria is simply, it depends. So, okay, sure, your next question may well be, depends on what? Before I answer that, let me say, this isn't usually the type of topic or issues we deal with on this channel. Keep in mind, this is a business channel where I speak about businesses and things we are doing and upcoming things. But listen, I get all sorts of people reaching out to me constantly, asking for advice or help to leave Nigeria. So, honestly, there are more people interested in that than whatever else I'm saying on this platform. Many would say to me it's for their children or for their family. Look, I understand that clearly. For whatever reason you want to leave or relocate, you don't have to explain it to me. If you have been paying attention to what's happening in Nigeria, you know there has been these raging debates on this particular topic. As Nigerians we call it Japa or Japmada. So much so some folks have created huge online communities that's entirely dedicated to bashing and denigrating anyone who dares to say they want to leave Nigeria. And even people like us who currently live outside Nigeria are not spared all of that, bashing or criticisms. Anyway, to answer the second question that I posed, it depends on what? Look, again, simply it depends on you. Yes, you. It's up to you to make your personal decisions whether or not choosing to stay or to leave Nigeria is a good option for you. Don't let anybody intimidate or browbeat you into taking decisions or actions that they want you to take, not what's best for you. But if you've chosen to leave, before you do so, my advice to you and my main objective for making this particular video is to ask that you do your research, do your own due diligence. Listen, leaving or relocating from Nigeria and going to wherever is a serious life-altering decision. It can also be incredibly difficult emotionally, financially, and even physically. I've seen people who, passed on here because they weren't prepared for what they eventually came and faced here. Listen, word on the street says, oh, don't worry, you get all the care you need here, no matter who you are or your personal circumstances and all of that. But if I'm being totally honest, that's not true, especially here in America right now. Even in the best of times, America has never been a welfare country and has always been a place where people, that's the most daring, the most creative, most intelligent, and the strongest people, the most strong-willed people come to compete. Like literally compete. So now there's increased anti-immigration sentiment. It's almost impossible to make it without preparing for eventualities. And also if you don't have any strong support system behind you. But having said all of this, right, it's not to say I am arguing for or against anyone leaving Nigeria or anyone coming here to the United States. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is this: know before you go. Let that be your watchword. Know before you go. Look, I understand what is going on in Nigeria now, as well as the rest of Africa. But these things are not unique to Nigeria. It's even here in America. Listen, the global cost of living crisis that started during COVID-19 or shortly after COVID-19 has recently been made worse by events such as the conflict in Ukraine and now what's going on between the United States and Iran. As people around the world, especially in developed countries, struggle under the burden, of these pressures of cost of living crisis, politicians naturally create enemies based on race, religion, origin, sexual orientation, etc., to find someone to blame, to shift the blame on others instead of on their failures to deal with these issues appropriately. So these are the things that give rise to very strong anti-immigration sentiments. I'm trying to explain this, especially because of those people who have reached out to me to say, oh, I told someone, usually someone we know in common, that they wanted to leave Nigeria and asked for advice or help to leave, and that person they spoke to insulted them. That person is usually someone who lives abroad, who sees the pressure we are under and thinks, look, there's no way here. There's no, that door. Those are venues people used to come, that they found it easy, found convenient to stay here, adjust their papers. They feel those doors have been shut. So that's why people react to that, because even us here, we struggle under the burden of this cost of living crisis as well. We are not immune to it. That's why a lot of people react that way, angrily, aggressively, whenever you raise a topic about wanting to leave. I guess you would ask, did I ever experience something like that kind of pushback that people are getting these days when they say they want to relocate? Or was I ever in a similar situation? I would say somewhat. But it's funny though, because before I moved to the US permanently, I traveled around the world frequently. And I went to Europe, America, Asia. And most people I met in Europe, like people I met in the UK, in England, people I met over in Canada. And when I initially visited the United States, all of them encouraged me not to go back to Nigeria. Imagine that. They wanted me to stay, but I said, nah, that's not for me. I guess that was a different time. It was a time you could actually come and stay and wouldn't have as much problem as you have now, sorry. But eventually when I decided to leave, I then got people who said, why do you want to leave Nigeria? And they were telling me how there are opportunities in Nigeria to become the next Dangote and all of that. But the thing is, by the time I got to the point where I made that decision, the decision to leave Nigeria, I had already figured out everything. I had everything figured out. I had made my decision basically. All I needed was information to cross-check with what I already knew, so that all of the information I had will make my efforts easy. Anything else anyone was saying at that time was their opinion, because like I said, I had it all figured out. But turns out, even though they said negative things, I shouldn't leave and all of that, a lot of the information I actually got from these people were incredibly helpful. So while all you hear is, oh, don't go, all of the insults and all that, I'll ask you to listen carefully. Perhaps if it's a thing or if it's a word, listen between the lines. If you put your pride aside and all of that, listen between the lines. Don't get too offended or too hung up on the negative comments and all of that, especially those who are giving you some, mixed information. They are saying, no, don't do, you're too big or you're too old or all of that. And also goes ahead to explain the situation, currently ongoing, either here in America or anywhere else you want to go. Listen between the lines so you make informed choices. So here's my own question for you guys today. A question I'll leave all alone for you to answer. Are you in a situation similar to where I was when I was considering relocating from Nigeria, and all you get is judgment and insults, like insults from your own opinion? Listen, you can ask me any and everything you want to know, and I'm going to give you my honest and sincere opinion. Let me clarify. My honest and sincere opinions may not be what you want to hear, but it will be fact-based, no judgment advice, and it will be free of charge. I am not charging anyone anything to have that conversation if they want to have a conversation about what the conditions or situations are out here. I'm also not offering or charging for any sort of consultation related to any immigration issues or leaving Nigeria. Please note, I shall not play any role in your efforts to relocate from Nigeria, like all of these visa talk and all that. I don't do any of that. All I want to do is hear you out, and I will respectfully tell you exactly what's going on now. You can then make of it what you want. Let's be clear, I will not encourage or discourage anyone from doing what they want to do, living or staying in Nigeria. I'm just going to keep it real and tell you the facts. Okay? So if you're that person and you want to talk, drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll find ways to reach out to you for an honest conversation. Now, if you found this particular topic useful and impactful, please like, share with someone you know is looking for information like this, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I publish the follow-up video. In that next follow-up video, I'll share what I consider my personal reasons for leaving Nigeria and the advantages I thought I would gain if I left. And also, I'm going to discuss how those opportunities or advantages have impacted or impacting my life and my business right now. Until then, please go watch this video next if you want to know how current immigration system is affecting your ability to start business here in America. If you're one of those people who live here in America and are wondering how to start a business, questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.